Come on, let's talk about
this, talk about that, talk about faith, talk about facts, let's talk about living, talk about giving, talk about family, talk about healing.
We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with you. We're my sisters, we got this, sisters. You roll with me and I'll roll with you.
substance.
Right.
Yay!
It's a whole vibe back there with that.
It's a whole vibe. It's a
Yes.
whole vibe. Yes. We are on a Sistahship. Good day, Sunday, 2 to 3:30. Where you at? Come on in. This is going to be an amazing show. Healing women, sisters. Oh my God, we have so much healing to deal with. We have so much PTSD. Our womb, our minds, the world, pandemic, getting through it, getting past it, variances, job situations, unemployment, high gas prices, feeding a family, all this and all this all the time. And now we are here to help each other get through all of the madness and take that madness and make it so magnificent. Because why? We have amazing women that are going to share and care and give you the information to help us grow and glow. And I am here. First of all, speaking of glowing, we are here with Miss Radiant herself, Miss Trish.
Hi, Tiffany. I am well on this beautiful spring day. We springing forward with Heal Thyself, mind, body, and spirit.
Woo! Woo! Mind, body, and spirit. Look at my body. I done got 20 pounds lighter. I'm telling y'all, I told y'all better have got real happy with them boobs y'all saw in the top of the year because they coming down. Hello, Lady K.
Hello, Miss Tiffany. Hello, everyone. Happy spring.
Spring has sprung. That
Yes.
Tiffany Cole kept on talking about the countdown. I wasn't believing her. Y'all know it was snowing. I was like, you better go talk to that groundhog. I don't know what's going on. How you doing, Lady K?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I'm just happy to be here with you guys this Sunday afternoon, talking about healing mind, body, and spirit. I'm excited.
Healing.
It's a journey.
Wellness. It's a journey.
Yes.
It's a journey. And I'm loving the motif in the back. Giving me all motherland. All motherland.
You.
Yes. Loving it. And today, Miss Yoni Versity. I need you to share Yoni Versity. Please.
Yoni Versity.
Let the listeners know about Yoni.
So Yoniversity, we're an online training academy that teaches about holistic reproductive health. The goal of Yoniversity is really to show that there's alternative options for feminine care, right? Mm-hmm. Us as women, we don't get that. And it's the leading cause of death and hospitalization and taking medications that we don't actually need, right? And that our mental health as well, right? So when we're going to these doctors, for me, it started at a doctor's appointment, right? So we're trying to prevent that, especially for Black women. We tend to wait till these symptoms arise until it gets too late, and then we get to the doctors, and then that causes us to have our paradigm shift, right? Now we want to go vegan. Now we want to figure out about anything about ourselves, our bodies, right? So we want to kind of change that narrative and have people get educated about their reproductive health, their anatomy as women,
as women, because so much of our world is internal. That's why most of your empaths are female. Okay, because we are so internal. You said something and I loved it. You just shared, we go through these things and then we want to become vegan. And I was just sharing with a group of friends. You spend the first half of your life chasing something, the money, the man, the whatever, and the second half of your life chasing health.
Yes.
Because we have given so much of ourselves. We're always such. It's almost like society has made us the sacrificial lamb. Somebody getting burnt at the cross, you think of a woman. You know what I mean? The stake, rather. You think of a woman. So here you said the paradigm shift and becoming vegan. Talk about that paradigm shift.
So, well, for me, because I always share from a place of experience, that's even how university started. So for me, I was in holistic health for many years before I even started university and before I decided to take care of my own personal reproductive health. I
Mhm.
was even, there wasn't times that I even thought about my womb, even being in holistic health. I'm doing Reiki. I'm still vegan. I'm working, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing all of the things, but never connecting to my womb space at all. Never thinking
Mm.
of doing this diet to help my reproductive health, which is the core of who we are, right? Our reproductive health. And it doesn't have to be about, when I say the core of who we are, because some people, some women I've spoken to before, if they've had hysterectomies, they start to count themselves out of this conversation if I say something like that. But that's not
Mhm.
the case, even with or without your womb, right? This is still our core, our center, our womb space. So for me, my paradigm shift was when I was diagnosed with PCOS. That drew
Mm.
my attention to my womb space, and it alerted me that, there's something that's not balanced within myself that I needed to take care of. And of course, the doctors, what do? They give us medication, right? The first thing that they do. That's it's like
Yeah.
that's all they
Yeah.
know to do, honestly.
Now
And
you
it was
had given an acronym. What did you say you were diagnosed with?
PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
What
Mhm.
is that?
Yeah.
So PCOS it has a lot to do with your insulin balance in your body, and it has a lot to do with your uh, um why can't I think of the word right now? Your hormones.
Hormones. All
Complete
them
brain
hormones
fog.
is a hot
Yeah,
mess.
your
Them
hormones,
hormones is a
your
hot
hormone
mess.
levels as well. Right. So symptoms that arise from PCOS, well, symptoms that you may have that will alert your body to know, alert yourself to know that you have PCOS would be like chin hair, swelling in the abdominal area, right? When you have PCOS, you get cysts on your ovaries,
Mm-hmm.
heavy menstrual cycles, painful menstrual cycles. Um, because of the hormonal imbalance, it gives you a lot of different like masculine traits, again, like the facial hair. Um, so a good thing to do if you're, I'll get into that later. I'm about to give you remedies.
Right, right, right. No, no, no.
We're not going to go into treating
Let
it,
me. We
but
gonna build up. We gonna get that chin hair,
yeah, all of the things you
and
want
we
to
gonna
balance
pull
that.
it, and then we
Yeah.
gonna pull the other one.
So I was given medication at that time. I did not take it. I decided that was when I had my paradigm shift, and I said, this is something I'm going to have to learn about myself and figure out how to naturally start to alleviate these symptoms and take care of my body, right? So that is where I had my shift. That's when I started getting into reproductive health, because I had to take care of myself, you know? And I think that another issue when we come to that, when we, especially Black women, I speak a lot about Black women, right? Because my experience, when we have these issues, we think that it could be from so many outside factors. So for me, I thought that I was getting prescribed medication so quickly because maybe I didn't have the best insurance. Maybe it's because I'm a Black woman, but working in the field with so many women, it has always came down to the fact that the doctors are not educated in holistic health or to teach you another way. That was always the issue, because I started treating, women from everywhere, and I'll ask them about their experience with their gynecologist, and it was very similar to mine. I was very surprised. I thought it was because I was a Black woman, because I didn't have the best health insurance. But no, we're going into these doctors' offices, and we don't know about our own selves, and the doctor only knows to give us medication. Let's put it like that, right?
Or some kind of
Or
minor
surgery,
surgery.
or they're
I,
gonna take it out.
they're always. I remember my younger time and getting checked out, and they said I had abnormal cells,
Mm-hmm.
and it was, again, that free clinic. Okay, let me just call a spade a spade. And I had abnormal cells,
Mm-hmm.
and I had state medical, and they said what we're gonna do is take like cut a little bit out to test it. I'm petrified. I'm completely petrified.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to another doctor that I paid, and I had a whole different diagnosis. But the thing is, a lot of times when they do their cut, which they can charge 10 times the amount just
And
for
this is a
one
biopsy you're
a
having.
biopsy,
Mhm.
and then they tell you you're fine, all you're hearing is you're fine and you're happy, but you never had to get cut in the first place if you had, maybe a second or third opinion. But a lot of times financially, we may not be in the position to have a second opinion. And Steph Fire reached out. She said, what happens when you have a hysterectomy with the PCO?
Well, with PCO, if they're giving a hysterectomy for a PCOS, it normally would probably help. But the thing about having a hysterectomy is it pushes you into early menopause. So it also gives you, it also messes with your hormones as well. And PCOS wouldn't be a reason to have a hysterectomy.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be really severe.
That's severe.
To have a hysterectomy for PCOS because it's manageable.
Okay. Now I know, Trish, you have an amazing product line that your business, part of the radiance, part of the yoni. And I want to talk about what yoni means. I want you, but we're gonna go, ladies. Please, y'all have to understand yoni. You have to understand the beauty of the name and the language of yoni. But before we go there, Trish, I want you to share, because a lot of people hear you and see a lot of your posts, but share with them your product line.
My product line is a non-toxic, non-chemical sanitary napkin and liner. And the reason why I say is non-toxic and non-chemical, because there's no plastics, there's no chemicals, there's no recyclable trash, newspapers involved in making this.
So
when you go in,
wait a minute. So you're saying that when we get that other brand, we're using recyclable trash on the cooch?
recyclable trash. Think about the newspapers in the landfill, the garbage you throw out. Think about your paper towels in your house. What does it absorb?
I don't want to think
put
that.
napkin down and you wring it out and it is still wet. Think about the products we've been using all these centuries. Okay, we've been using this product. I know personally, I suffered with rash, irritation, walking with my legs gapped open because I'm thinking I'm gaining weight. And all along, it's because of the patch that's irritating me on the sides of my thighs, inside. The headaches, the migraines, the 7 days. Some of us are flowing 7 days or more. Looking at the different colors of our cycle, the odor. And we're thinking, oh my goodness, why do I smell like this? What is going on? You go in the store right now and you'll see the product say non-chlorine. Hold on, wait a minute. You always putting bleach in the products that go on our most sacred part of our body, and y'all knew this, but did y'all care? No, because what's next door to them pads? The Advil, the Midol, the ibuprofen. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. And then they got the douche products next to that. I don't want to say no names, okay?
We're going to talk about douching today. We're going to talk about that. That's a whole other segment. Right. And again, for those who are listening and they're finding anything about this, let me tell you, this is real talk. This is really what we go through as women. Dads out there, you have daughters, just deal with this conversation, because this is a real conversation to have with your girls. You need and with your wives and with the women in your lives, because what we go through, what we to try to society, because God forbid You know, that 12-year-old little girl, God forbid her
Mm.
pants got soiled while she's in school and everyone's pointing and teasing and
Mm.
laughing. God forbid you don't know how to keep yourself cleaner, where you don't have a scent and an odor, and you're that girl that they're pointing at. She smell. Where you know, there's some comedy, there's some laughter, there you ha ha. But the reality of it is, this is real talk, and women make up more than men on this planet. So please, there is laughter, but please, there's also true support that we're bringing forth, and knowledge and wisdom, and we want you to have some understanding. So I apologize, Trish. Continue.
No.
The understanding that trash and chlorine was sitting next to our opening. People
Okay.
talk about they won't go in certain beaches higher than their knees, but you're putting trash and chlorine. So I want you to continue, Trish.
Okay. So the trash and chlorine. Now, I know personally, I suffered miscarriages, and I never contributed it to what I was using. Okay. I was like, okay, God, you don't want me to have that child. I understand, because, growing up, you was taught not to question God. However, you have every right to question God. If you want to know something, trust and believe. You could ask him and he shall answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think about it until it happened to my own daughter. Then I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Pump the brakes. God, what the heck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it was revealed to me.
Woo.
It's the products. The products? She's not using tampons, ladies. She wasn't plugging herself up. And if you are using tampons, I'm not one to tell you to stop. However, I am one to tell you your health is more important than plugging it up. Okay?
Right.
Your health is more important. Because when you go ahead, Tiff. What you
Can
say?
I piggyback off of you, Trish? Because myself, I also experienced miscarriages, and when they were happening, the doctor, all they told me was, we don't have a reason why they're happening to you. So I'm thinking like that, maybe I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? And at that time, I'm using regular pads, but over the years, as I educated myself, I transitioned myself, and I'm gonna call Kim Miss Yoni University. I even changed my eating habits. So with the changing of my eating habits, I saw a major shift, and I pay very close attention to my body, because if anything is off now, I'll be like, wait a minute, something not right. Versus before, I couldn't pinpoint it, because you think, like you said, Trish, you put all that garbage in you, and you can't decipher when you have all that garbage going in you or even near you.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You
Chemicals that are in pads. Not to cut your wisdom, but the dioxin that's in pads is a cancer-causing agent.
Yes.
And
yes.
A lot of these conditions that we experience as adults comes from long-term use of that toxin with, being in connection to our body. So something just that simple, right? To educate the women about something just that simple. Spring cleaning your feminine health product.
Right. Spring.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Get rid of all those products. Get rid of all those products. And if you listen to the doctors, they'll tell you, oh, that little bit of dioxin is not going to do anything to you. BS.
Right.
Because we're here to tell you it will do something to you, and it has done something to us from the top of our mind. Because once you start having miscarriages, now you're looking and thinking, what did I do? Now you're thinking, did I have a drink? What did I put in my system to cause this to happen? When you know you was clean, but you wasn't clean.
So let's talk about, and Mama C is up in here. We always love our Queen Ager and our Oracle.
Yes.
Kim, you said you went vegan. Can you share with us how we eat, how that can make a difference in the quality of our life?
Well, absolutely. And it's not even about just going vegan, because it really depends on what you need personally for your body, right?
For your body.
Because you can't just stop cold turkey and go vegan. Some people can't. Some people need that iron, even though there's, of course, vegetables very high in iron, but there's a way for you to transition into becoming vegan, right? Because you're losing a lot of different vitamins that you're used to getting from certain foods that you'll no longer incorporate into your diet anymore. But for somebody that suffers from PCOS, which I didn't have, by the way, that was the diagnosis that I didn't have. I had ovarian cysts. That's another story, but it's similar. It shows up similar in the body. So with something like that, you want to stay away from sugar. Again, it's like that insulin thing, like a diabetic, right? You want to stay along that type of diet if you're experiencing something like that. But just thinking about eating as, you know, putting life into your body, right? Because like they say, you are what you eat. So with me, it was easy for me to get off of it. Like, hold on one second. It's Lady K, right?
Yes.
Like you mentioned, like you are what you eat. So it was easy for me to transition off of meat because if you're aware of your body, like you were saying, Lady K, you're paying attention to your body, how your body reacts. You want to eat that intuitively too, right? How are you feeling right after eating certain foods? So for me, when I eat certain meats, I started to feel depressed afterwards. I was anxious afterwards. You know what I mean? And then my body, if I tried it now, my body is not going to really, it's going to take forever to digest. So it'll give me stomach issues, right? And, gut health is important as well, right? Because with stomach issues, you'll have depression, you'll have issues with clarity, and you'll have issues with gaining weight and all of the things that come along with that, right? So it's important to eat intuitively, I think, more than anything else. If you're eating something and you pay attention to how your body reacts right afterwards, you know if it's good for your body or not. It's when transition into, because I can't eat cucumbers. You would think you're vegan. Let me make a salad. I'm going to put cucumbers. It's inflammatory for me.
Right.
And I noticed that I will feel swollen. I will feel bloated. And it's a salad. It should be good for me, right? But it doesn't always show up that way. So I would say intuitively eating is the best thing. And to stay away from meats. If you're going vegan, that's one of the biggest reasons for me, because when they're killing that animal, that's what the animal is feeling, right? That fear that goes into the body.
Right.
Yes.
When an animal's body is inflicted with anybody's body that's inflicted with fear, right? Emotions manifest into physical elements within the body. So when the animal is being killed, that fear is causing disease in that body as well. And that disease is within that tissue, right? And then we eat that. And then we wonder, why are we having fibroids? Why are these diseases showing up in our body? It's those emotions manifesting as physical elements. So you want to be mindful of that when you're eating.
Yeah, no, we would
piggyback off Kim real quick.
Yes.
A lot of people think, oh yeah, going vegan is great, right? But also too, people don't realize there's a lot of processed food out there in the vegan world. Like for me personally, I can't eat certain processed food, and I learned it because it will give me inflammation. So again, that's part of paying attention to your body. So you have to minimize the processed food. And I know a lot of people was on a time schedule, but if you can prep ahead, that will save you to stick to your fresh and your frozen stuff and leave the processed stuff alone, because that can also cause like other issues to go on in your body.
Lady K, can you share? Because I think sometimes, we say these things and it sounds like it's common that we would understand. Can you give some kind of concepts of what you mean by processed food? What is a processed food that you found that, hey, I didn't even realize this was going to affect me this way?
Right. So those are the foods that, they make in the, in the frozen aisles, or even maybe in the canned aisle, and they're already done. And all you got to do is pop it in the microwave or pop it in the oven. And I'm going to give an example. Morning Star used to be one of my favorite brands. And they have this thing called, I think, buffalo wings. And all you got to do is throw the buffalo wings, like I said, in the toast oven so it can warm up, but not realizing it has soy in it. If your body is not, liking soy like that, it's going to inflame you. So you got to read those ingredients. And a lot of people don't know this too. Everything that they say, oh, that vegetarian does not mean it's vegan. There's a difference between vegan and actually being a vegetarian. Vegetarians eat cheese. They still incorporate cheese in their diet versus someone who's a vegan. There's no cheese in their diet. There's no meat at all. There's no parts of any type of animals in a vegan's diet.
Okay.
The difference.
There's a difference.
On that note, hold on, Tiff. So on that note, we got to be careful about things that's labeled organic as well.
Yes.
Right.
And they changed the names too. They changed the name, so you gotta know. If you can't read it, I said don't eat it.
That's right.
Hi, Miss Erica Cherry. She just clapped for that one. That was that. If you can't read it,
don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it. And the thing is too, and we talked about it because Tiff Co, you know, she is certified JJ Smith. And you know, she's, you know, part of my, I finished it today. It was full and it was green, of doing the smoothies. And I remember we had a show, we talked about how to shop. And talked about most of your fresh items are the perimeter of grocery stores.
Yes.
And we have to go up and down aisles is when you start with the preservatives and the salts and the packaging, so that the shelf life is 2 years versus 4 days. So anything that shelf life probably expands past 4 days probably has some process to it. However, we understand, you know, it is a process. We have to deprogram. We've been programmed because every commercial is something fast food, something to make life easier, something to go through a drive-through, something that will last. And like Lady K said, meal prepping, which is something that's I'm all, you know, all this fabulosity. Yes, I haven't grasped that. I'll be really honest. This is one of the hardest things in my life is to food prep. The smoothies work way better for me than food prep. It just that is so hard. Thank God there's a Tiffany Co. and others out there that will food prep. You have to pay them, but you will food prep and start and help you with your process. We were chatting, and you know, Stephania was saying, but before I go into working for a large food company the past 22 years, she can absolutely attest to watching the ingredients and the preservatives, and they are horrible. Yes, because it's like, think about, here we go, people, dead people. I used to do dead bodies. I was a cosmetologist, but I was also a cosmortologist.
Okay.
So formaldehyde to keep the bodies fresh. Formaldehyde. So to keep your food fresh, they're going to go almost to the extreme of formaldehyde, as far as they can go before the FDA says no. And
they'll put formaldehyde.
This is what I'm saying. Okay,
Yeah.
I was trying to be allegedly, because the comments of the Sistahship are not those of, you know. Anyway, so, you know, those pieces, and like Kim was sharing earlier, the way our meat is not our great-grandmother's meat.
No.
Right.
Our meat is not our great-grandmother's. And I'm not saying our grandmother's meat. I'm saying our great-grandmother's meat. The farmer's market is a lot different. The way they raise the cows, like you have to spend almost $100 a pound for some real Wagyu beef. Wagyu beef. Okay, where yes, they're in a field and they're massaged every day and they're drinking wine and this and this and that, and then the how they are transitioned for our meal is like this peaceful peace. It's not like that. Animals are living like this. They're eating their own stuff.
Right.
Chickens are hopping around with one leg.
Yes.
Each other. So that stress. So when your stress level personally, when you can't pay your rent, you stressed out, your high blood pressure. Imagine you can't pay your rent and you living with 50 people in a 5x5. And between the 50 of y'all can't pay your rent. and you're living like that. Your stress levels is like this. That chemical imbalance is doing like this. That's what's happening to those animals. Their chemical imbalance. So even though they're dying in a bad way with just a whole other stress, they're living stress.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about high blood pressure, the animals already have it. You're talking about cancer and disease, the animals already have it. When they butcher, they cut off that green stuff. You don't even see it, but it's been living in their bodies. I'm not saying I'm not here to say there isn't any good meat. I'm sure there is. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't get farmed. I'm not telling anybody to eat meat or not to eat meat. That's not what my thing is. My thing is, with the best intentional, shop intentional. It's cheaper to do it. I know it's expensive each grocery trip. Each grocery trip is a little expensive. I know. God knows. Maybe we can consume less, eat better for ourselves. I know. But that daggone hysterectomy is a lot of money. And it's 8 weeks out of you, 8 weeks of a healing, a scar you're going to see forever. Your emotional and hormonal imbalance. Everybody around you ain't going to like you because you're going to be mean.
Okay. Tiff.
Yes.
Let me go back to something that you and Kim touched on.
Mm-hmm.
When you spoke about the animals and you spoke about the disease that's inside of the animals,
yes,
and everything that the animals is going through.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wonder why we go through these things. And then we wonder why our daughters go through these things. And then their daughters go through these things. And we say, oh, it's a generational curse, right?
And our men, listen, when your penile isn't working as well, finish.
Right. Yeah, right. You can't perform the way you want to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And we going, what happened? And then we realize, oh, hold on. When I was carrying my daughter, I was carrying her AIDS and I was carrying my granddaughter AIDS within me. So we are passing these things on to our offspring.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to learn to shift before we start passing it.
Yes.
I love that you took it there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Just clarify, right, a little bit, is that you were in your mother's womb when your mother was in her mother's womb, right?
Yes.
So that's what she's saying is taking place. And not only because we're talking about consuming food, right? But we're also talking about consuming energy, right? Because there's the transfer of the disease and the emotion. So we're talking about the transfer and the consumption of energy. So if whatever your grandmother is consuming, it's creating an energetic code within her DNA that is going to then be coded into mom's DNA and code it and imprint it into your DNA, right? And that's what we talk about too when we're diving into the womb, right? The Akashic records, right? That deep knowledge. And that's why I liked when you mentioned you were saying this is not my grandmother's meat, this is not our ancestors' meat, it's not good to eat here anymore. And I'm gonna share something I've never shared any of my personal spiritual stories with anyone before, live or socially or anything like that. So when I went vegan, because we're talking about changing your diet and shifting, there's a lot of spiritual encouragement that happens around my life, right? I'm very into spirituality. So at that time though, when I was eating meat, I didn't stop because of any condition within my body. I stopped because I had a dream with a Buddhist monk, and the monk came to me, and the monk was holding a cauldron, the witch's pot, the pot a witches use. There's a very deep significant meaning of that as well. So I'll get back to that. So a Buddha comes to me, a monk, and he's holding this cauldron, and it's very wide, and he points inside of it, and he says, "What do you see in there?" And I'm like, "Pig feet and beef." He goes, no, first I said meat. And he said, yeah, but look again, what do you see? And I'm saying meat. And he goes, look. And I said, okay, pig feet and beef. And he goes, yes. It used to be okay to have this. It's no longer okay to consume this anymore. It's no longer okay. And then I just woke up and I was like, what?
Wow. Wow.
There's a very long story that I just made really short. But what I learned after that as well, completely for me, it seemed unrelated at the time, but when I say, you'll see how it was obviously related. Maybe like a year or two later, I picked up a book called The Animal something. I can't think of it right now, and all my stuff is packed away. You see my bookshelves are empty. It's a meditation book. But I learned later that the quadrant is actually represents infinite knowledge, right?
Yes, yes.
So for him to come to me in my dream holding a quadrant and then pointing inside for me to see what was in it, it was just for me to not to eat the meat anymore, right? But also what I learned after that was that quadrant also represents the womb.
Yes.
Yes, and when it's a gold quadrant, it signifies the womb. So the gold signifies the color of the sun, which means life, right? And then the quadrant itself, infinite knowledge with inside the womb, and also representation of infinite life. But I just wanted to share that story really quick because you brought it back to this is not meat, and it's not. I was told that for sure, and that's what made me stop it. And Trish, of course, you had to bring it. You had to bring it all the way there.
Yes. No, because Trish is the light. I am radiant. T. Jones, thank you so much for joining us today. She said hysterectomies are a high profit margin surgery in the medical field. And again, also taking our eggs in that hysterectomy is also a business.
There's a lot of business around the feminine reproduction.
A lot of business. I took my placenta in both births. Out with me. No, give me that. That belongs to me. I'm taking everything I came with, I'm taking home. Let me make
and you have the right to do that. They will try to talk you out of it, but you have the right to do it's your body.
It's our body.
Yours.
So we are a little over 30 minutes into it, and I can't be in this hot seat without talking about sex. Yes, because that's that's a huge part of our womb, the reproduction, giving life, creating life, carrying life. So I want to talk about our Heal Thyself, mind, body, and soul, by the people, the energies, the frequencies that we allow inside of us. I had a girlfriend who does listen, so there will be no names, who shared with me she knew her significant other was cheating on her because she felt it in her womb. She felt that a pH imbalance in her womb. Yes, I see the shaking of the heads. Ladies, please let's chat about healing thyself with whom we allow into our sanctuary. Lady K, I saw you shake first.
That's powerful. You know, it's so funny. You might be in my head, Tiffany, because I thought about this the other day. I said, us as women, we should be very careful who we lay with because, they're coming inside of us, dishing out all those things that they got inside in their spirit. And maybe you might have a beautiful spirit, but then they don't. And then you wonder why you feeling offish. It does matter who you allow inside of you. I'm just saying. Yeah.
And I saw a shaking of their head. Yes, come on.
We are the receivers, right? We receive information, just like we were talking about the transfer of energy, just like you were saying how we're more of the empaths, right? We're receiving downloads and information. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we're receiving information. So the same thing when you're laying with your partner, you're going to receive their energy, right? It's sacred energy exchange, sex.
Sacred
Right?
energy
So you're
exchange.
going to be receiving whatever energy is surrounding them, and not just energy. I mean, if they have mental health issues, those type of things you will receive. You will not know why you're feeling a certain way. Depression is transferable energy. You know what I mean? And if you're empathic and you don't know it, you're going to assume it's yours. You're going to claim this, and that's and you'll carry that. You'll get medicated for it, and it won't even be yours. You'll be claiming it. So I think that's definitely important.
You had mentioned the gold. I don't want to mess
The
it
golden
up.
quadrant.
Yes. And I
That's
want
the
to first
womb.
and foremost thank you so much for that transparency, and thank you for sharing an intimate moment in your life, and that being the woman's womb. And we were just sharing about bringing a man into that womb. So when that man is bringing all of that, if that man, not all men, is bringing all the chaos and other relationships and hopping from bed to bed, talk about the colors of that golden cauldron. What takes place in that?
I wouldn't necessarily speak about it of a color changing.
Okay.
With the cauldron, or within the womb. I would just say that again, you're going to be picking up any dis-ease this man has within his body, and we're not always talking about physical diseases, so it's not always about a sexually transmitted infection. Right. However, that's also a possibility, right? It goes deeper than that when we're exchanging energy, and if you're not mindful of it, you're going to claim it. And I think it's important to be mindful, especially if you're, empathic. I'm deep empathic. If somebody's pregnant around me, I feel like I'm the one that's pregnant.
Ooh.
Seriously.
I feel like Mama C would be the same way, because she is just, she'll look at you, what's wrong?
And I have to figure that out, because I will, if somebody's around me and they're depressed, I will feel like it's me. I'm depressed, but when I'm mindful of that, I learned how to protect myself, protect my energy, but also, acknowledge that this doesn't belong to me.
That's a good point that you made about protecting your energy. So maybe people need to know, how can they protect their energy so they can avoid things like this?
So there's so many things, right? I want to give so even with your energy, right? How you maybe have repetitive relationships, like of the same person. You ever get that? That'd be a red flag. You date a guy, you break up, it was a terrible relationship. You meet another guy and he's damn near almost the same as the last guy. Right?
What you're attracting, right?
Yes.
Right? You claim it as this is your type. You keep going for the same type of guy, and that is I feel like that is a sign, right, that you're holding on to this energy of this person. So there's protection, and then there's cleansing, right? So for me, I say, you're your own altar. Like, you can make your own rituals to protect your energy. For me, I used to do spiritual coaching for a while, and I would get people that ask me questions like, how do I sage my house? However you want, whatever intention you put behind there, that is what's going to manifest, right? So for me, when I'm protecting my energy, when I'm protecting my space, it's the boundaries that we create, right? It's the teaching people how to treat us. And then it's also a prayer that I say for myself, right? I connect with my ancestors. I cleanse my house. I use my sage. I use my smudge. I welcome in the energies that support my best and highest self, for my best and highest intentions to come around me and to do whatever it is that I need in that moment, whatever it is. And then in my mind, I will surround myself in a sphere, right? To keep that energy boundaries in like a sphere of light for the day. I do this every day? No. But if I feel called to do that, that's what I do. After saging my house, opening the windows, I will welcome the energy in, but I also welcome it to leave as well when I'm done. So I don't hold that energy, and it's good energy. I'm calling in my ancestors, I'm calling in the guides that support me, but there's also a release in allowing them to go and be wherever they be. So that's how I do a protection. For cleansing, vaginally.
Wait. I got to, I'm in prayer. Woo! There was a lot. I want you to hold on to cleansing, but I have to, please. You are your own altar. Woo! That's a word. That's a word.
I like that.
Highest and best intention. Another word. Please, y'all need to bullet point some of these pieces. Don't run. It was a lot. Don't run. Hold on to that. Surrounding yourself in your sphere. Woo! Lord. Okay. Bullet points. And then, you selfish chicks, I know I'm one of them, releasing that good energy back so we can do other stuff. Ho. Oh my gosh. I had to let that come through. Kim, thank you. That's a word. That's some stuff. I hope y'all caught that. That's why I had to give it back to you again. I had to repeat because I don't know what it did for y'all. I'm sorry. I'm having my own testimony, my own situation. Holy Ghost dance happening for me. But I want to just bring it back. That was so powerful. Oh, thank you so much. Kim, okay, cleansing. I'm ready.
So the thing about that is just, it's important that it's not about how I do it, because I get often asked, how do you do it? It's about what intention you want behind any ritual that you want to create, right? Because a lot of people will teach us anything we ask them to teach us. How do you do this? Oh, for $29.99, join my ritual group. Now you in a ritual group, and she's telling you rituals that work for her, but she has her own ancestors working with her. She has her own. There's something else going on there that only you can do for yourself. So it's important to know that. So that's protection. And then for cleansing, right? I'm saying we because I'm thinking about you, Trish. We, my university girls. But energetically cleansing, right? So we're using the sage. We're using crystals. And I want to talk about the crystals really. I packed everything up. The crystals really quickly because energy transfer, right? So we want to, women come to me and they'll ask, how do they remove their exes from their womb, right? To remove that energy from their womb. And we'll talk to them about using certain things, like whether it's yoni steaming, right? Which is using a mix of herbs specifically designed to help to support reproductive health, to soften the womb, to help to release physical toxins from the womb. You steam the herbs, you sit over the pot, and you allow the steam to go up inside of you. And depending on what each herb in there does, it will help with balancing your pH levels. It will help with hormonal issues. It will help with heavy period, releasing fibroids, releasing cysts, all of those things, right? That's the physical cleansing. Another.
So wait a minute, you're talking about all the so I'm a virgin every time with this. I love it. Yes. So we start afresh.
Right.
But Kim, now you got me open. I got a question for you. Which herbs should we use to cleanse down here? What herbs should we put in the pot?
Right. You could make a simple cleanse with rose petals. A favorite herb of mine is burdock root, which is also good for tea. It cleanses the blood, the liver. Okay. Lady's mantle. But mother's wort, right?
Yes.
The reason why I like that one specifically is because that's an herb that is actually used to help to induce menstrual cycles and help to bring out afterbirth. So that herb being in an ingredient in one of the products that you would use to detox vaginally is good because it's going to be what supports removing of the cysts and fibroids. So certain people, if you hear they have like those yoni detox pearls, I don't know what everybody else has. I only know the products that I have. I work with a medical facility that creates the ones that I have. And the mother's wort in it is what allows the product to work and to help to remove anything that's stagnant going on in there. So that's a good herb for that. So that was what we would use for a physical cleanse. Energetically, yoni eggs, right? You girls
Yes.
heard about yoni eggs. I'm gonna try to tell this a quick story about a yoni egg and the confirmation for me about how it really absorbs the energy. Like it really absorbs energy. So I had a yoni egg. I used it before. Obviously, I used them, but this particular yoni egg that I used was my first yoni egg. And when I first used it, I was seeing this guy, and I remember hearing about womb healing and all of these things and thinking, I'm not ready for that, because I was dating this guy. He was younger. He was so handsome. He was a boxer, a singer, and he built houses, girl. It was so fresh. So I was like, I'm not ready to heal right now. Because
Amen.
you gotta stop all the things. At least even during your detox process, right? Which can be, 2 weeks to a month. I'm like, I'm not ready for that kind of healing right now. But so I used the yoni egg, and while he was away, he went away on vacation. So I decided this is the perfect time to start. If I'm gonna start experimenting with putting stuff inside of me, then I'm gonna do it now. So he went away. I put the yoni egg in. And at first it kept coming out. Like every time I stood up, anywhere I walked, it would just come out. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I slept with it overnight, and the next day it stayed. It wasn't coming out. Like even when you go to use the bathroom, if you're peeing, it will come out. So you have to be, ready to catch it. Or I've flushed many of yoni eggs before. So you have to be prepared. So I was prepared, and it wasn't coming out still. And that day, the next day, was actually a full moon. And if you're into crystals, we gather all of our crystals and we sit it in the moonlight so it can catch the moon.
Get charged.
Right? Cleanse the egg. So I wanted to do that with my yoni egg. And I went to take this egg out, and it would not come out. And that the guy I was seeing was coming back from his trip he had went on. And I needed it out because we had plans, right?
Right.
It's my first time using it. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with this thing. It needs to come out. It never came out. I had a group of girls hopped in the chat like, look, this thing is still in me, and he's coming home tonight, and it needs to come out. And they're like, oh, you could do it with the yoni egg, and don't worry about it. And I'm like, you can? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know about this. He's very church-going guy. I'm spiritual. I'm completely opposite from him. But if we're doing it and he feels something and it comes out and it's a rock, that's a rock to him. That's not a rock. Like in my mind, he's going to be like, she had a rock in her, So I was very nervous about that. Long story short, everything went fine. I end up leaving the crystal in. We end up doing it with the crystal in. And the next day, I was able to remove it easily came out, right? Okay. Fast forward years later, I lost this yoni egg. I don't know where it's at. I'm in a completely new relationship. I haven't spoken to this man since, which was probably like 5 years prior. And I find my first yoni egg, and I'm like, this is amazing. I'm going to clean this egg, and I'm going to use this egg. I did all of the cleaning. I did the physical cleaning of the egg. I sat it out in the moonlight. I could have buried it. Some people will bury their egg to connect it, to ground it. I did everything you could think of to clean this egg. And I decided I was going to use it. As soon as I put this egg inside of me, that man called my phone. I haven't spoken to him. I haven't spoken to him in like 5 years. As soon as I put that egg in, my phone was like, I was like, oh, no. I had to take it out so quick. And I put it in a cup to cleanse it again. The guy that I was with, he thought it was an avocado seed, and he threw it in the garbage. I was like, whatever.
Oh
my God.
So yes, right. That's a story about how energy will transfer. And so we use those eggs to help to cleanse, right? And for me, I learned now that if it doesn't come out when we want it to come out, it's still doing the work. So I use it in a more energetic way, in a more spiritual way than a physical way. Because physically you can use the egg to help with prolapsed bladder, right? Prolapsed uterus, help to strengthen the vagina, right? Your Kegels. But people say it's going to make your vagina tighter. Nothing makes your vagina tighter. what happens is you strengthen your pelvic floor, which gives you the capability to contract and release, right? Your vagina as you want it. So if you use the yoni eggs for tightness, that's great. It's going to strengthen your pelvic floor. But let's say if you're having pain during sex, that means you need to be able to relax. So it will help that too, right? Because you're using that muscle, you're strengthening your pelvic floor. It's giving you control to contract and release better.
What do you know about vaginal rejuvenation?
I know nothing about that. I've never even looked into it because of the products and the holistic stuff that I use.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing in there.
Well, I was I grew up, my mom is here. Hi, Mommy. I see you on today. Thank you, sisters, for the spiritual healing and lessons. We love you, Mommy. But I had heard the word yoni in the meaning of, in the Hinduism fashion, and it meaning the womb and the vagina and the goddess, and there's a symbol of the goddess Shakti and the generation of power. And so when I saw Yoni University, I was very much okay. This was, the thought of what you're doing. You're taking it in so many different but specific intentional meaning. And so when you are sharing Yoni University and Trish being a student, and I'll ask Trish, what lessons have you learned being part of the Yoni University?
Oh my goodness, Tiff. Okay, let's go back to last year when we was all like, oh, we want to do the yoni steaming, right? Because we had never experienced it. As old as we are, okay, we had never experienced that, and we all was gung-ho to the point where we researched an individual that would travel to us to do it. So that we didn't do it. But I was home. COVID. I was home, and as I was home with the sanitary products, I heard the spirit, Yahweh, say, go deeper. Ooh. I'm like, go deeper. And I had spoken to you, TiffanieRo, about this.
Yep.
I was like, go deeper into what? So now I go to Facebook and Kim pops up on my phone. Now, mind you, we have friends, mutual friends, in common. But she pops up and I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. And at the time, I was doing my life coaching, purpose coach training. Okay, so I was like, well, I'm not going to jump to the Yoni University yet because I got to finish this first. It's in pieces. Because he was like, okay, you do the coaching. And then he said, okay, go deeper. How much deeper? Go deeper into the Yoni. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at Kim's information. We transfer messages back and forth. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to sign up right now. I'm going to wait. She was like, what you waiting for? And I was like, but I got to finish this. She was like, no, it's okay. You could pay for your course and you could start it when you're ready to start.
Right.
And I'm looking at this information and I'm learning about the PCOS. I'm learning about the endo. I'm learning about the cis. And I'm going, Lord, have mercy. All of this stuff that we get. And at different ages, this information, these diseases come upon us. And we could actually stop it from happening. I could teach somebody how, not even teach them, educate them on how to heal their bodies before these things start taking over their bodies. We have 600 ladies yearly going through a hysterectomy and they don't have to. Yes, Kim, I'm with you. Yoni University is my varsity. Okay? Woo. Because I have daughters, my daughters have friends, I have nieces, and not only is the pad causing us troubles, but the food we ingesting is causing us troubles. Our own mind is causing us troubles. Like, yeah, I need to know about this, and not just from a money aspect, but from a generational, a legacy, because we don't have to die.
Mm.
You know, and how many women want to have kids and can't because they're no longer able to give birth?
Yes.
We all was created
And we had the
to give birth.
ancestors. Yes.
Yes.
We had the
Our
ancestors
ancestors
that
didn't go through
taught us this.
right? Our ancestors was having 13 kids, and now we can't have one. What the hell happened?
Kiki's having 11. Poor Kiki. I don't know about
You
this.
know, look, and she
I
looks
love it.
beautiful.
She looks beautiful though. She's singing these babies out.
Yes.
Singing these babies out.
She hit a note and she get pregnant.
She gets pregnant. She for real.
Right.
For real.
Myrtle.
You know,
the cis, you'll hear women talk about, oh, it'll get smaller, oh, it gets big. Like, it's this living, breathing entity within our bodies. So it depends on what you're feeding it, is how this will survive.
Yes. And our ancestors didn't have cis. They didn't go through this. So what are they putting into our environment, into our communities, and why are we as Black women being the most affected? What's that about?
Black women and women of less means.
Right. Why? Why is it up?
Genetically, Black people are not supposed to digest certain diets and certain foods.
Yeah, the milk.
We're eating foods given to us by colonizers, and that's important to understand. So even like becoming vegan, you don't eat dairy, right? We said being vegan, you don't eat anything that had a face, right? Anything that can poop. So even dairy we don't eat, right? We're not supposed to have this dairy in our body. It causes mucus. It breeds disease, right? So yeah, the diet is definitely super important when it comes to fibroids, cysts, anything for your reproductive health, and just knowledge. And that's what we do. That's what we do at University. But just being aware, right? For someone to learn what the word yoni means, for someone to hear this conversation, it will activate them to now be mindful and pay attention to their body, right? Pay attention to their womb. Because I didn't pay attention until it was a condition. That's when I paid attention to my womb, right? But if we start paying attention sooner, we're connecting with strengthening our intuition, right?
Yes.
And that's heavy.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. So, young girls, young women, we are giving away our sacred sanctuary, our temple, and we are allowing a lot of toxins, a lot of diseasement, a lot of energies into our being. The media, TV, a lot of what we see does not share with us be honoring and being sacred with our beings and with our bodies. Anything of value on this planet is hard to get. It's hard to get a real diamond, and it takes time for it to be cultivated. A pearl is in a hard shell. So I want us to there is a reason why there is a skin before it is broken. This should be something that we take ownership of and love up on it. And we have to continue to keep ourselves in an environment where it is protected until by choice we have allowed what we want and who we want to be part of our inner being, because that's our inner being. We talked, one thing I see a lot in the chat, and I don't want us to get off because these 90 minutes go by so fast because it's so, oh my God. Douching. Douche.
No-nos.
French. Douche. The cleansing. I mean, and I don't know if it's a real cleansing or not. I mean, I grew up, now I don't know, I'm telling my age, that little, what is it, that orangey, burnt orange, big rubber thing hanging from the shower rod thing with this long white piping thing with this other hard thing that had this shape that spit all this. Okay. And then it became, ooh, I'm not going to name the brand, but it has one of the 4 seasons, and it speaks of the mother of the earth evolution. And it was, oil, well, not oil and vinegar, that's salad dressing, water and vinegar, or gardenias, or what have yous. And so let's talk about what that is about. And I know everybody used to do it before they went to the gynecologist. I just heard these are things I heard. So let's talk about that type of cleansing. And is anybody, first of all, am I alone with that experience? Am I the only one that used to see the thing hanging from the shower? I'm not talking about you, mommy. I don't. What you say?
My grandma used to have one, so it used to be in the bathroom, hanging on the thing. And I'm like, what? I was asking her, what is that? She'd be like, oh, but this when I was younger. She'd be like, oh, that's for grown women. I'm like, oh, okay, grandma. Well, what you put in it? And she was like, I'll talk to you about that later. But later, she did tell me that she put water and vinegar in it.
So, I mean, how is that with the balance, acidity, the fragrant ones? Then it came, again, where you can purchase it from, in the little boxes, and it was a little neater, more disposable situation, which I think I'm gonna be honest with you, I think folks used to use it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Trish, talk about that with your product and what you've heard through your process.
Okay, first, douching is a no-no because we are self-cleaning. I like to say we are self-cleaning oven. Okay, we have the ability. Our vaginas clean themselves. Our yonis clean themselves. We was created to once a month, every 28 days, to cleanse our body. When we don't have our cycle, or when we don't get pregnant, the egg is released and we start our menstrual flow. Okay. Now you're talking about, put something up in you to cleanse you. But if you put something up in you, you pressing water, you flushing water up in you. So whatever, let me say, infection you have in you, whatever bad bacteria you have in you, you pushing it further up in you, causing more disease than need be necessary. And now you run into the doctor to get a prescription when we could eat right and get rid of the bad bacteria. Our bodies have good bacteria and bad bacteria. And our good bacteria will overtake the bad bacteria to flush it out. So the douching, you douching so you can smell like flowers. If God wanted you to smell like flowers, he would have created you that way.
I smell like flowers.
Is it from the pineapple? Is it from the pineapples? And the
I smell like pineapples and cherries and strawberries.
Okay.
And a fresh spring day. I smell like a fresh spring day.
We could eat those things. That's and we could taste the sweetness. Our nectar would be. Oh yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to piggyback off of that. So this is a pet peeve of mine, right?
Okay.
The self-cleaning oven thing, right? We say we're a self-cleaning oven. The vagina is a self-cleaning oven. It cleanses itself. The problem with that statement and the issue that arises for me is that what we do need assistance in cleansing.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm going to tell you this is because even though our bodies are self-cleaning oven, because they are, we heal and our body can repair itself, right? If something goes wrong. However, due to all of the toxins, due to our diet, due to being exposed to outside toxins, we need assistance. Our body is not going to be that self-cleaning oven that people could constantly use that term to say, don't cleanse yourself this way because your body's going to clean it. No, your body's not going to clean it out itself. If you have bacterial vaginosis, your body is not self-cleaning. It needs some assistance. It needs some type of help. If you have reoccurring yeast infections, there's something going on there, right? So with the vagina, your pH levels of the vagina, we always look for alkaline, right? Like that's a big thing. These last couple of years, alkaline water, alkaline this, must eat an alkaline diet. Great. But the vagina is acidic. It's not supposed to be alkaline, right? The bacteria that grows in the vagina needs to grow in an acidic environment. As far as how a douche affects your vagina, yes, we don't need to douche, right? Douching is bad because it is masking anything that goes on within inside of you. So when you're douching and you're putting that vinegar and that water, it is, like you said, recycling those bacteria back inside of your body, but it also will mask infection. It will also mask something that's off, right? And while it's masking it, that's why it's making it worse, is what Trish was saying. Like, you're putting this douche inside of you, you're recycling this bacteria, this infection with inside of your body, but you're masking it. So you're not having those symptoms that you thought you were having. That bad odor is going away. It's being masked. And the bacteria is that bad.
Because you're not dealing with the root. Is what you're saying is you're not dealing with the root. And probably too, the ratios, like if you are douching and if you buy that product, it's pre-made for everybody. If you're making your mixture and you don't really know your balance, how much you are alkaline, how much you're off, you may be rising your pH to a point where now you're creating a more toxin environment.
You absolutely are when you're douching. It's throwing off the pH balance, and that's making your body not be able to produce the bacteria that it needs to fight off the disease or the infection.
Now, a lot of women do go through, well, I want to say a couple of things before. Yeast infection, sanitary napkins, tampons, and douche, and all of these different pieces of the puzzle that are supposed to be what we're necessary for us to have a healthy yoni. I'm hoping that any legislation is listening. It bothers me to no end that all of this stuff is taxable. I feel that these are necessities. I feel that this should be if someone is getting like the food stamps and things like, I think should be stuff that people should be able to buy and prayerfully buy it from Trish or companies that do organic pads, organic panty liners, and things that can help us with our pH balance, because we are self-cleaning. However, like Kim and Trish is sharing, and a lot of our viewers are stating, the things that we're using are so negative for us as women, and they're taxable. So I'm hoping that someone out there hears that we don't need to pay extra money to keep ourselves clean, keep ourselves from leaking on ourselves again, so that our young girls and even grown women are not feeling that shame and embarrassment. And again, there's a lot of PTSD with that. We're growing and getting past that. But again, I hope somebody out there is listening and we can make some change in that area. But going back, and I apologize, Kim, going back to the balance. And so if we're not douching, because that's what we've been taught, we've all saw the thing hanging years and years. what should we do to assist in the self-cleaning, or what we need to do if we are off?
Well, with the self-cleaning, right? That's an overall whole body experience. It's what we've been talking about this entire time. It's about your diet, right? It's about what you're consuming. It's about the energy transfers. It's about all of those things. As far as cleansing out, I would go back to doing yoni steaming, right? This is an ancient practice. But also, as far as the sanitary products, I would definitely make that the bare minimum. Like how, remember I told that story, I ain't ready to heal yet. If you're not ready to heal yet either, sis, and some of us ain't, at least, change what you're using, change your pad at the very, very, very least. I work with so many women, and it's so funny, and I feel like this is an issue. I don't know if it's just my own experience, but sometimes it's even the woman closest to us, or for me, women close to me, do not listen to anything that I say and experience all of these conditions, all of these symptoms for the longest time. I'm talking about someone specific right now. And now came to me like, I changed my pad and everything fixed. It went away. I'm like, really? Something I told you to do 10 years ago. Right. It's like, so something just that simple, changing your sanitary pads, changing your pads, even the soap that you use for your body. If you're experiencing something like bacterial vaginosis, and I bring that up because I feel like as a young girl, that is something that should be talked about, because it changes your pH changes how you smell, right? So that's something that you could be really embarrassed about. I mean, as a grown woman, you would be embarrassed about something like that, right? So that's a issue with your pH, and so many things can throw that off. Also, yeast infections, right? So it could be your soap. It could literally, like I said, just be your pad that you're using, or the person that you're having sex with, because a man's sperm is actually alkaline and a female's vagina is acidic. So because of that, if the person is ejaculating inside of you, that can cause the bacterial vaginosis. That's going to throw off your pH balance. It's going to cause your that environment, that acidic environment we need to become more alkaline, right? So you want to be mindful. You want to be mindful of that as well.
Okay, so Kim, I'm sorry. It's a quick question for you, because right now we're talking about pH levels and stuff like that. How can one know what is their normal pH level? Like, do you go to the doctor to get blood work? How does that work?
There are tests that you
thing up inside of you that you
there's actually little tests that you can buy online to check your pH. Your pH should be at like a 4.5, 3.5, 4.5. And the men's is at like I could be a little off on the numbers, but then I believe the men's pH is like around a 7, 8.
Ooh,
thank you.
So that's interesting. The science portion of that is very interesting, as us being acidic and a man being alkaline, and then that being the connection. That right there is that tells a whole story. Somebody and I was thinking about this, and someone again brought it back into my mind, ladies, and I think this is more of a Trish and a Kim question. Can we talk about the period cup?
I personally, I actually give those away very often, but I don't use them because I suffer from PTSD from my cycle. In my mind, my cycle is going to be so heavy one day, and that cup is not going to do it for me. But I have given them away, and I get people that use them all the time, and they love them. I've experienced the cup before. I used it before. It was fine, but I'm still I'm still in my mind. I think I'm going to be food shopping. Something's going to happen, because with my condition I had with the ovarian cyst, it made my cycle very heavy. My cycle was lasting for 10 days. I was changing my pad like every 2 hours, and it was like, I had to change it. It was extremely heavy, to the point where I became anemic. It shot my iron levels down. So I'm not big on the cups for my own self, but I have given them as gifts, and I give them away all the time when I'm doing lives or something like that. Like in my community.
Because I hear, and I don't know a good cup from a bad cup at this time. I don't need a cup. But, life is changing. I'm a woman of a certain beautiful age. Um, but Trish, have you heard anything about the cups as well?
She's frozen.
Okay, okay. So what I wanted to, so let's talk about again, we talked about the smells.
Hmm.
And I think someone was saying eating pineapples. And I don't want it to sound like that's just a cliche. Are there certain foods that can help you with how
How you
your
smell?
yoni smells? Yes.
Well, actually, chlorophyll
Yes.
helps with body odor specifically. So drinking that would definitely support better body odor. Would definitely support that. That's something I love to drink anyway. It also helps for you to like reduce, there you go. It also helps to reduce sugar cravings, which is a plus if you're dieting, it oxygenates the your body as well, so it's definitely a
Mhm,
good to try. I would do chlorophyll, but of
mhm,
course eating your fruits, right, and your vegetables, it's going to make you feel and smell better overall, right? It's
mhm.
not just vaginally, but it's cute to say, that it's just, you're going to make your vagina sweeter by eating the pineapples, but there's definitely more to that. It's your overall diet. You're not going to drink pineapple juice and then eat McDonald's and
Right.
tonight you're going to be lit because you had
Yeah.
pineapple juice
I done
all
ate
day.
a, I done had a pineapple upside down cake.
Right. That's my favorite, by the way.
It's my
That's
favorite too.
funny.
So, and that's the thing too. We want to share, there's no judgment. So, this is information. Sistership is about giving information. Sistership is about us holding hands together, kumbaya together, and sharing honest understanding of how we can journey. It is so difficult, and we know it's difficult. Like I said, for me, it's very difficult to meal prep. I love that we said our nectar. And when you think of our nectar, our roots, our womb, why we are called woman, because we have that womb. I love that we're having this dialogue. I love that we're talking about steaming. I love that we're talking about natural healing, how to transition the alkalines and the pH balances from within. Kim, you are amazing. Yoni University. Really quickly, because I don't think, how can people find you, talk to you, be a part of the program, be a part of this education?
So it's University. And we're on Instagram at University Online Academy. We're on Facebook at university.us. And our website is also university.us. We have a prereq course, it was free actually for almost this whole month. And
Almost this whole month.
yeah, because the sale just ended.
Can we have a code for the Sistahship viewers
Yes,
for a
we can do a
24-hour?
code. We can do a code. We can definitely do a discount code. We can do that Sistahship, and
Okay.
we can do well, we have a 20% sale going on soon, so I want to give you guys something better than that.
Ooh,
Yeah, let's do like 50% off the 101 course.
y'all
And with
hear that? Do y'all hear how dope we are? Do y'all know how dope you are to be part of this ship, this
let's do
this
that.
this currency, this fluidity of sistership relationships? I
And with the 101 course, you'll get into the prereq for free. So it'll be like 2 courses in one. Um, Again, 101 is really physical. We talk a
Mhm.
lot about the physical of fibroid, cysts, endometriosis, PCOS, all of those things, crystals, yoni steaming. We go into that as well. Herbs, teas, how to make womb tea, how to use your crystals, how to use them with the client. We talk about a lot of stuff in there. The prereq is really, you're going to learn about menstrual health in there. You're going to learn about sanitary napkins and products that you should and shouldn't use. You'll learn about all of those things in the prereq. And then 102, which we haven't opened yet, is really dives deep into your spiritual. So then we go into the courses about the physical and the energetic womb. So you learn 101 is the physical womb, 102 is the energetic womb. And then we also go into sexually transmitted infections because we're doing that energy transfer, right? We're talking about
Yes.
energy exchange. So you'll learn about sexually transmitted infections in 102, but you also do a lot of journaling, a lot of meditations. You're going through the gateway of the womb. We have guest speakers on there. Anaya Sophia, she's the author of Womb Wisdom and a bunch of other amazing books about reproductive health and just your journey as a woman spiritually, your transition from a girl into crone, right? Each initiation in each stage. So it's pretty dope. But what I wanted to say, something that you were saying, Tiffany, before is about like we're journeying and how to journey, right? We've been talking about so much on this show so far. I think that it's important to give yourself grace. And I'm saying that because it's so much to take in and it seems things seem overwhelming normally, but we're not living even in a normal time right now, right? For the past couple of years with this pandemic, we're still trying to function normally. We're still trying to do all of the things that we're always used to doing. And if we're not able to show up for ourselves or for others like we used to, we're even harder on ourselves for some reason, right? We're not acknowledging that we're in a different, there's been a paradigm shift, a full different, there's a completely different energy globally going on right now. And we're not including that, right? We're just thinking, I need to do this, I need to get that done. Oh, and don't let you see somebody starting a business, because this is the business time. Everybody has a business for every single thing. And it's okay. Yes, you want to get things done. Yes, you want to start your journey, whether it's a womb healing journey or whatever it is that you need to do to connect to your most high self, right? To bring you back to the essence of who you are, which is going to be your most comfortable place to be, right? No resistance in that space. So my thing is just to, on whatever journey it is that you feel you're called to, is to give yourself grace now during this time, right? Because we're talking about going vegan. What I'm gonna hate myself if I make a mistake and I eat meat today. You know what I mean? Like I was out, I was stressed out, and I'm gonna be like, I failed. I'm gonna feel like a failure, and I don't want that mind state. And that's why I share also, your ritual is your ritual. It's your intention. Put intention behind what it is that you're doing, and it's gonna work out. It's gonna manifest for you in the way that you're putting the intention behind it, right? Not when we want it, but there's a sowing process, there's a growing process, right? You're planting the seed, you have to water the seed has to grow, right? For the fruit to come to fruition. So continue to put that, your own ritual together and give yourself grace. I feel like that is the best way to start your journey.
I think
That's
that was
not the way I did it. I was angry with myself.
Right. And again, earlier, Mama C had mentioned meditation, yoga, self-love, exercising, and again, loving yourself. Having, maybe you haven't even given yourself a self-love day. Maybe give yourself self-love half a day and start there. And then work it to maybe, again, giving yourself a day, then giving yourself 30 minutes a day, maybe giving yourself 15 minutes a day as you're growing, as you're getting more and more and more involved with what's going to heal you. Acknowledge, but then again, I love what you said, Kim, giving yourself grace.
Right.
Giving yourself grace.
I actually have a story about that, but I'm not going to share it right now.
Well, you have given us SOW, S-O-W, to SOW, SEW2, making things happen. And then what happens after you sow? You grow.
Right.
You grow. Things are coming out of that dirt. Things are coming out from that soil. And we can't always control the environments.
Right.
We can't control when a bird flies over and takes a dump. We can't control the wind. We can't control the rain. We can't control the snow. But the things that we can, Let's work as hard as we can with that. We can't control that phone call that we pick up. We can't control that social media text that annoyed us. We can't control our boss coming into our office and saying this. We can't control that your kid, you went to the bathroom in the bed and now you got to clean that up at 2 o'clock in the morning and broke your sleep. A lot of things we can't control, but the things we can control, maybe just be more courageous, because we already have courage, but a little bit more courageous and penning ourselves in, not penciling ourselves in, but penning ourselves in.
Yeah, I love that. You have to hold yourself accountable, right?
You have to hold
for you, and it's just for you, right? Isn't that terrible? Like, you have to hold yourself accountable for you. Like, you have to make yourself show up for you, and sometimes it's a struggle, and that's okay too, right? Like, it's like whatever for me, like whatever in my mind I know is gonna allow me to start my day in the most positive ways. It might be something simple as, when I wake up, I take a shower, I have coffee. If I don't wake up and take a shower and have the coffee, my day is thrown off. And that means I can wake up and instead go right to my laptop, get in there, start doing emails. As soon as I do emails, now I'm making a social media post. Now I'm putting together something for Instagram. Now I'm making a sales pitch,
Right.
And I didn't even take a shower yet. It's throwing me, it will throw my complete day off. But something even just that simple, as showering, I want to keep it as simplistic as possible. In the shower, what's your intentions in the shower, right?
Woo!
For me, in the shower, sometimes I'm using that water because we cleanse with water, right? We even cleanse our crystals with water. And I don't mean that in just like washing them. I mean like energetically cleansing them. So in the shower, also there's intentions behind that, right? There's a ritual right there taking place. What is this water actually washing away? What is this water cleansing? What is this water purifying? It's used all the time. Holy water, it's water. What is the intention behind that water?
I love that.
So even if that's all you did was take a shower, right? You can make that part of your journey. You can make that part of your ritual, whatever intention you want to put behind in that. Do I do that every day? No, I'm not waking up spiritually, getting in the shower every day and making this water, but I get called to do that sometimes. And I'm sure there's reasons for it that I don't know, because I've avoided them, because I've done that cleanse and I've done that process that day. And I took care of me for that moment.
Ooh, we took care of ourselves. We don't have, again, this time gets by so quickly. I'm going to say, you saved the best for last. I saved the best for last. With this clean, alkaline yoni, let's talk about the orgasms.
Ooh.
Yes, ladies, let's go there. Let's go there. So,
go ahead.
Self-health, loving thyself. And this is our being. And a woman has more triggers than a man. Our senses are so much different when we have our climax than a man. Let's talk about how a healthy yoni. What is that experience? And what have you found from the women that share with you, Kim, through Yoni University?
Oh, there's so much, right? So orgasms, what we talk about, because we also, we're also always talking about rituals and spiritual stuff. So what comes up with orgasms often is sex magic, right? And again, that's the intention behind your release, right? So if you're having an orgasm, what intention do you want to put behind that? But I feel like with anything sexual, that you have to be able to, in order to experience it fully, you have to have that clarity, like in your mind.
There we go.
So if you're holding on to things, and this is energetically too, if you're holding on to things, you're not going to be able to experience that release. So if you're holding on to things mentally, right? I had a client that I worked with because she was having issues sexually, right? And we would do this routine before her husband would come home. We would do a meditation, and then she would we would have this session for her to release and talk about whatever she needed to talk about before he arrived, so that she'll have that clarity to go into her bedroom and not be holding on to every single thing. Because
So all the stuff.
right, because even though we can have a release and it won't be an orgasm.
That's true.
Thing.
That's true. And I know we have to end. So Kim, you have to promise we get you again.
Yes.
And I think we want to talk about this sex magic. We want to talk. Ooh, my husband in the background said, "Ooh." It been 90 minutes of a conversation, but he heard sex magic. So we listen. Yes, with triple, we want a triple listenership, triple viewership. I want to thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We will have you again. Please, it was our honor. It was our honor, your transparency, your clarity, your easy listening. The language was easy to hear. Definitely. Lady K, I love you so much. I haven't been on the show with you in a minute, so I enjoyed this today. Trish Radiant. Yes, Trish Radiant, we love you. The Tiffany Co, Mama C, Stephia, all of our sistership. I love you. T Jones, thank you so much. You was with us all day, and I love you so much. I am your girl, TiffanieRo.info, Bayro Real Estate. Kim, I saw your shelves are empty, so that means you need me. Where are we moving to? I got you. This is the Sistahship next week, 2 to 3:30. We got you all on every media, every social media there is. Tiffany Co, where you at? Where you at? I miss you today. I love you. I love you. I love you. Guys, this has been a great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, for your expertise.
Thank you, ladies.
University.
On a sistership, come with us, we on a sistership. Yeah, we on a sistership. Roll with us, we on a sistership.
Sistahship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
Sistahship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about this, talk about that, talk about faith, talk about facts. Let's talk about living, talk about giving, talk about family, talk about healing.